tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to Platinum Explosion, #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on another week of Platinum Explosion. Got nothing this week.
Yeah, I was about to say you're just like, nah, got nothing. it's that kind of week.
It is that kind of week.
It is that kind of week. I think I'm saying it every week in a row. It's weird. These weird weeks in the lead up to the Game Awards and end of year stuff, whatever. In trophy cabinet this week, bronze trophy for that darn PS5 Devkit showing up again. A silver trophy for knowing that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is a game that will apparently exist eventually. Gold trophy for a Sony patent pointing to cool PS5 social stuff, and we hit a platinum for Valve helping push VR forward. But first, in case you didn't know, this month's PlayStation Plus games are going up. When do they drop? I swear we do this every month. Wednesday? That's when they drop? Thursday. Like Tuesday? Wednesday? 3 a.m. I don't know when they drop. Anyway, this month's PlayStation Plus games are going to be Titanfall 2 and Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. So, Titanfall 2, I know, I haven't played either of these. We'll start with Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, I know, is a game that everyone, high praise, reckons, a lot of people that love it reckon that's, underplayed and all these sorts of things. I brought it for like $10 last year around this time, I think, when it was on like a Black Friday sale type scenario or Christmas sale or something like that. I brought it for like $10. I was like, cool, cheap as fuck. I'll get to that. Still haven't got to it. So,
never did.
No, never did. Maybe this holiday.
Trade it back in.
No, it was a digital $10 copy. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Shit.
Yeah. And then Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game, is a bike game, motocross. That's cool.
Yep.
For Monster fans, of which there are many. I'll tell
you the same joke I made on Twitter. It's been a great month. PlayStation's been very kind to Monster Energy drink this past couple of months.
It's true. I like how everyone took for the couple of responses I saw to your tweet, there was people taking that very seriously. This isn't really a thing, Ashley. Because it was one of those things where I'm reading a couple of people that replied to your tweet, and I was like, he's joking, everyone. It's a joke. You're ruining the joke.
And I tell you what, it would be really cool if, in a couple of months, it turns out that Sony actually has shares in Monster Energy drink.
Well, who's to say that someone in the higher ups there don't? Maybe bloody conspiracy theory.
Hideo Kojima owns a 45% stake in Monster Energy drink.
Probably does these days. The thing with the Monster Energy drink thing, by the way, I don't know if I brought this up last time, but also Death Stranding's been out what seems like a month, nearly a month, right? It's nearly a month now. Yeah. So fuck this. There's a mission in the game that you do, and then it gets rid of the Monster Energy drink.
Well, kind of.
Apart from your flask.
Your flask, you still drink Monster Energy drink, but you don't see the actual cans anymore.
You don't see the cans, which is the meme part that most people had, was because of the cans. So that was funny because I was playing the game and I got to that point, after 10 hours or whatever, and then my cans disappeared. And then everyone on Twitter was still making the jokes. I'm like, these damn cans have disappeared. I don't even have them anymore. I didn't have the Monster Energy drinks for they're only there for the first small part of the game. And I know there's still new flasks, but that's not the part that people were turning into a joke, obviously. But the cans that replace it are beer, so things get better.
It's more irresponsible.
I think so, considering you can still make him just skull the entire six-pack that's sitting there or whatever.
You can, yeah.
Because that's the other thing that's weird. It's you can only drink, it says for each can you get plus 10% stamina, and then you can make him drink 3 to get, that's right, so 2 cans for plus 20%, 1 can for an extra plus 5%, so you get plus 25% stamina, and then there's still 3 other cans sitting there. There's always 6 cans. They always let you drink excess for no reason, other than just watching Norman read.
That's his rider. Every time he goes in one of those private rooms, he needs 6 cans of drink.
He always sticks his hand up too, and does the whole thing. And it's weird. He does it with the beer too. I'm like, calm down, Norman. Anyway, I think it's neither of us have played either of these games, so let's just say the pick's Titanfall 2 for the month. That's right. We were talking about the PlayStation Plus games, and I was like, "What? Monster Energy Drink? Yep, cool." Long story short. Moving on. So, the PlayStation 5 dev kit, the one we've talked about before, that there was a picture of, and leaked blueprints and whatever else. It showed back up on Twitter this week, so everyone was on the internet was going crazy. I think that the internet also took this one more serious than the pictures we talked about last time, because this one's like a look at them, they're on someone's desk. So IGN writes, after an illustrated image of the PlayStation 5 dev kit appeared to be confirmed by a game developer last August, a new image, this time of the real thing, has appeared on Twitter. The image first shared by Twitter user at Alcoholist, the drunk cat, and reported on by Eurogamer, shows two supposed PS5 dev kits side by side, each featuring the same V-shaped design we saw in earlier illustrated images. The Verge editor Tom Warren chimed in to confirm that those are in fact PS5 dev kits and explain the odd shape, tweeting out, "Yes, this is the PlayStation 5 dev kit. The reason it's large and V-shaped is to make them more easily stackable for devs who are running multiple stress tests. The cooling is optimized to push air out of the sides and center. There's no indication that this dev kit design will be even remotely similar to the final PS5 design, and in fact, history has followed through on that during previous console launches." The Twitter user said in a later tweet that they received the image from a developer. So long story short, of course, everyone's flipping out about the shapes again.
Wow, it's real.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I think honestly this is one of those things I kept saying, like, getting retweeted around last week, and I was just like, I don't know if I care anymore about the freaking V-shaped prototype.
We knew it would look like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a known thing, and everyone's still focusing on the shape, and I'm like, we know that's not what it's going to look like. I mean, we don't know, but we know. You know what I'm saying? We know that ain't going to be what the final
at
product.
this point, maybe they should just lean into it. Everybody likes the V. It's just an interesting shape.
I mean, it does work out because of the whole 5 thing. So.
Yeah.
The thing I was trying to work out is what the fuck is this projector system in the right-hand side of the system here? Bunch of text and shit. I presume it's like some sort of debug menu or something that's like giving
probably
information about what's going on. But I was like, that's a lot of text to be appearing on some little LCD screen built into it or whatever's happening on there. Either way, it does appear that the dev kit is getting into the hands of more and more developers. That's
they must have made a lot if they're thinking, you know what, we need these to be stackable.
I suppose it's just because of the way developers work. I guess like being able to have better airflow so you can like potentially stack, like if you've got 2 people working next to one another on a desk or something, so they could stack 2 dev kits on top of one another, even something as simple as that. You know what I mean? Because like an office workspace.
Yes.
It's like being able to have a system that is designed and could be put into the office design spaces where it's going to be tight and airflow is going to be shit, compared to obviously the consumer product where they assume that most people are putting them in nice lounge room, whatever they're called. I'm forgetting what the word is. Cabinets, display, whatever. Display cabinet things. Then I guess the design gets to work out differently for those. But yeah, it's interesting that more and more of these are popping out in the wild. And it's not just like, oh, the first party developers or whatever second party developers have them. It at this stage, it really does seem like the PS5 dev kits are just out there. Like
anybody and everybody.
They're out there. And I don't have the story in front of me because I didn't think it was super relevant. But as I'm talking now, there was a story with Phil Spencer also this week. Someone wrote up where he got asked about the Scarlet dev kit, and he said that they're not out there at all yet, apart from like a couple from like in-house type things, and they're still working on those, and said some quote about wanting to be the one to surprise Sony this year. So, which was a throwback to the whole last generation when there was more Xbox One dev kits out and about, and no one knew what the hell PlayStation was doing. Their PlayStation, like at the start, he was like, "Bam, we're doing a press conference. Here comes a console." Blah blah blah. And whereas this generation, it's like Sony's just more openly like, PS5's coming, fucking dev kit, you know, do what you need to do. So seems to turn around, do what you need to do. Talking about PlayStation 5, we have another story from IGN. PlayStation 5 new patent reveals how players might share game content. New patent filed by Sony for technology called scene tagging, quotation marks, could suggest the creation and sharing of user-generated content will be a big part of the PlayStation 5. As spotted by Respawn Thirst, Sony Interactive Entertainment has a new patent approved by the United States Patent Office on November 21st, 2019 for something called scene tagging. The filing explains that scene tagging is used to characterize user-generated content associated with gameplay information associated with video games. What a fucking mouthful. Which means it probably relates to the upcoming PlayStation 5. Scene tagging is explained as a way of automatically generating metadata for gameplay videos and screenshots created by players. Quote, such as details about where the recording or screenshot was taken, who was included in the user-generated content, and what objects are found in the user-generated content. The point of creating this metadata is to make it easy for players to search for specific content. It says you may be able to search by character, object, and location. So let's say you're stuck on a particular puzzle in the game, you could put in a search term to bring up other people's gameplay to see or watch how they solved it. The patent film filing also adds that the metadata associated with the user-generated content would allow viewers to experience the same events that were recorded. The interesting word there is experience. What exactly does this mean? So I think just like forgetting about the whole reading into word experience, which I think just means watch the fucking video. I think this is pretty cool and would definitely be something that, you know, because obviously sometimes patents are filed, but nothing comes on of them and they don't actually mean anything. But this is definitely one where I feel like this is going to end up being part of the PlayStation 5 system because it just seems like a decent and upgrade to the current like saving and sharing your videos and whatever else, this type of thing. PlayStation, Sony reps, whoever else in the past like 12 months whenever they've been talking about the PS5 have talked about how they want the PS5's ecosystem to be a lot better than what it is now. Like, and it basically said that the menu on the PlayStation 4, whatever that's called, the what's new section or social section or whatever that's called, the section that barely anyone looks at, where it says, oh, this person got a trophy, this person's shared this screenshot, all this stuff. No one cares about that. No one really uses it. So they want to make that actually better and more cool, I guess. So having a system where you could upload a gameplay video and then it automatically tags it appropriately. And then, yeah, the example they give is a really good one. It's like you're playing a game and you're like, fuck, how do I beat this puzzle? And let's say the game just came out that day or something and there's no guides up, you know? So then you're able just to search on your PlayStation without having to pull out your phone or anything like that and see if anyone else is like, you know, like type in the chapter level or something like that. See if anyone's uploaded their own gameplay and then watch their gameplay video and see how they solve it. Or watch other people's endings to games to see if they got different to you or something like that. I think it's cool. What are you doing?
I mean, it's an interesting concept. I mean, how do you implement it, I guess, unless it's through the, like, on other social media, or is it just going to be something within the PlayStation ecosystem?
I'd assume just inside the PlayStation ecosystem because I think outside would be too hard.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so I mean that's cool. Again, help with like puzzle elements or like, hey, I want to rewatch somebody else's playthrough or this last section, just because it's a cool story moment or whatever.
Yeah.
You can go and do that, assuming it's not blocked behind something.
Yeah.
For spoiler reasons, but yeah, that's cool.
Well, it's like you know, like when you share a video to YouTube anyway, like it pops up on the Watch New section, and you can watch it in the PlayStation's video thing there. So it's like, I don't know. I suppose you could maybe like get it. So say you save a video of a level or whatever, and I suppose when you boil it down, it's like each game would then need to have its own inbuilt tagging system, which I mean is more work for someone, I guess, that has to go in and be like, oh, if the player saves a video here, it creates tags for this. You know what I mean? But then I guess technically, like, if it comes up with a bunch of tags and then you upload it to YouTube, maybe it just puts those tags in the YouTube tag section. You know what I mean? Like if it's able to export them as tags that way, not some special like PlayStation way to do stuff. Either way, I think it's interesting, and I think that's one of those patterns that I would see actually showing up on the PS5. That sounds like a legit thing that makes sense. IGN also writes, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 already been worked on. So...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake director...
Is it being worked on the same way that Part 1 was being worked on when it was announced?
Well, they say they're working on it.
Like, not at all?
Well, well, you can call him a liar.
It's happening.
It's happening is the thing. Final Fantasy VII...
Does the director know this time?
What? Final Fantasy VII Remake director Tetsuya Nomura has said that Square Enix has, quote, already begun working on the next part of the episodic remake of his RPG classic. In a Square Enix blog to accompany a batch of new screenshots of the game, Nomura sought to quell fears that splitting the original game into distinct chunks would make it a much smaller experience, saying, quote, opportunities for discussing our true intentions are few, but with regard to the size of the game that many are asking about, there's no reason to worry at all. Even in this Midgar portion alone, the density and volume are so great that I had to give directions to lighten them. With regard to new characters, of whom I said in past interviews that there would be none, though they aren't main characters, their numbers ended up growing considerably in the process of creating a rich depiction of Midgar. When you think of Midgar's final boss, you probably think of the MOTOR, but in this game, new bosses will appear and add to the excitement of the story even more. It is a reiteration of the team's promise that each episode of the 7 remake will be the size of a full game. However, Nomura added a juicy detail at the end of this post saying, quote, we've already begun working on the next one as well, but I'm confident that playing through this title will expand your expectations, just like the world that extends beyond Midgar. It's not clear if Nomura means that Part 2 is in active development or pre-production, and IGN said they've contacted them for more quotes. But either way, apparently they are begun work. Whatever
they
that
wrote the
work.
name on a board.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's all that counts as work. They wrote Final Fantasy. I still really want to know what the name is, because that's the thing that makes me laugh the most. Is it just going to be called Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 Remake? Like, how do you, what really weird fucking mouthful could they come up for the Part 2? Final Fantasy Remake
Final
Part
Fantasy
2.
VII Remake Part 2 outside whatever it's called.
Yeah, some jumbled shit after that is what it has to be. Final Fantasy VII Remake
outside Midgard
Part 2, Dawn of the First Day
Collector's
of the Tomorrow
Edition.
of the Sons of the Brothers of the Sisters of Tomorrow 2.8 edition duodecim.
0.5.
0.5. And that's the title of the whole thing. Yeah. I'm still just I'm still just like, fuck me. If they're gonna make, because Midgar, I can't get it. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game, but I'm still just like, the Midgar section of the game is like so small. It's Part 1. There's literally going to be 20 games. I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be dead before the last one comes out.
Probably not.
I mean, we'll fucking see. I'm very doubtful. Here's another interesting thing for you. Death Stranding novel hits Japanese bookstores, writes DualShockers. Death Stranding has a 2-part novelization out now in Japanese bookstores. There's also a steelbook edition coming this February. In early November, it was revealed that Death Stranding would be getting a 2-part novelization based on the game's plot. Just yesterday, the novels finally hit Japanese bookshelves, and Twitter user John Tatian posted a picture of the books in question. I mean, they look quite thin to me. They look like manga books in the picture, basically, but I mean, considering how wonky and utter nonsense the plot is, I'm like, how much do they write?
The text is very small, you know.
Maybe.
A couple of characters represents multiple words in English. I mean,
that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
can't judge a Japanese
book by its length.
cover by its length. Yeah. I would honestly, I reckon I'll get this when it comes in English. There's no way I can't. I feel. You know.
I mean, I just can't fathom how you would tell that story.
That's why I want it so bad
in novelization.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either. Norman then reaches over, cracks a Monster Energy drink as he showers.
Does he?
They're like
an ad for Ride with Norman Reedus placed in the background.
Right, for Norman Reedus.
One of the few remnants of the world before the Death Stranding.
Yeah. As Norman walks along, he walks some more, and then he walks. Oh, he tumbled. He walks. He walks some more. I mean, when you get to the last couple of chapters, obviously the book stuff makes sense because I could definitely see the last, especially the last couple hours of the game being like fitting for a novel form. But up until that point, I'm like, how do you write that? I guess it's interesting. We'll see. It's been written by does it say it here? Did it say here, or did I read it somewhere else? Don't.
Kenji Yano, the pen name for Hitori Nojima.
Yeah, who was also
one of the game's official writers.
One of the game's official writers. So it's not like it's not being written by Kojima, and it's not being written by someone that's wasn't involved with
it's
the
not
project.
Like the God of War novelization, which was done by
his father,
Cory Barlog's dad.
Yeah, I think so. That was another interesting one. But then I can picture God of War novelization.
That one you can understand.
Yeah, that one I'm like
you just cut out the combat.
Yeah, I mean, you can have some of the big boss fights. You can have one troll show up and actually fix the game a lot by only have one show up in the book, and then you have all these things and moments and conversations. But it's a lot more easier plot to understand because you start at A and they end at Z. Like the game's quite linear with its storytelling, I guess, in that way. Whereas Death Stranding's like very, very much a video game. It's a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's storytelling.
Sam saw a crate of metal.
Yeah.
He decided to pick it up.
Yeah.
He was over encumbered, but he kept going.
Sounds great.
Tell you what, if this comes out, we'll do a reading on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'll have to read the first chapter or something like that. I'm committed.
How do you do a steel book for a book?
I think that was written wrong because I scrolled down to the bottom of the post. They're talking about a different steelbook for the game.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
I think the headline was just written, which
but also more disappointing.
Yeah, if there were steelbooks for books, I would be fucked. That's that.
Book publishers.
Yeah.
Do
you want more of my money?
That would be a legit good idea, I guess, depending on the size of the book. Like better than the freaking book cover things that they do now.
No, to me, hardcover books are of course considered the better version only if you want something that looks nice on your shelf. Because the paperbacks are easier to read, obviously, but hardbacks look nicer. But then also, if you walk into a bookstore these days, you'll often find like really nice special editions of particularly older books like Alice in Wonderland and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll do re-releases of those and really nice editions and stuff. But yeah.
Get Steelbook, have the paperback book inside so it's easier to read. You can take it out of the Steelbook, and then when you're done, you can put it in the Steelbook, put it on your shelf, looks nice. It's
possible. Maybe it's already done, just haven't found out.
Hit us up, Penguin Books.
Penguin.
That's the first one I can think of. HarperCollins.
Yeah, that is another one. Yeah, you're right. Push Square has pointed out this interesting tidbit. It says the PlayStation Awards 2019 will be live streamed on PlayStation's official YouTube channel. They've had no. This is a thing that they say in the past. The PlayStation Awards have been a Japanese event where developers and their games are celebrated. This year, however, it looks like Sony wants to make the ceremony a global event, which ties in the company's recent focus on uniting PlayStation's three key fronts, Japan, North America, and Europe, under singular leadership. They do note that there's like whispers going around and rumors of reveals. I wouldn't expect there to be reveals if it's just something that in the past has been a award show for like in-house or like whatever. I don't know how it works out. but it is going to be...
It's a sales-based award.
Yeah. So I wouldn't...
So if you get 500,000 sales in Asia, Japan, then you get at least a gold award. And then if you get higher than that, you get other awards. It's like the music industry when they give out plaque things for record sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
So I definitely wouldn't expect much to come out of this. But I think it's interesting that they're actually just live streaming the whole thing. I might check it out of intrigue, I guess, just to see what it's like, considering they're actually streaming it. It's going to be on at 6:40 tonight when this drops. 6:40 p.m. If you're interested to check that out yourself, I guess.
If you're not doing anything.
If you're not doing anything. Or, of course, you'll be able to find it later, I guess, as well.
PSVR for the players.
All right, so I got a couple VR stories I wanted to talk about this week. It's been a while since I had a couple pop in, but the first one is that Facebook and Oculus Studios have announced their purchase of Beat Games, the studio behind the VR smash hit Beat Saber. Through a blog post, Mike Verdu, the director of content at Oculus Studios, explained the long and short of what this means for Beat Games and Beat Saber going forward. Most importantly, fans of Beat Saber and on non-exclusive, non-Oculus devices shouldn't be worried, as the division Verdu wrote that Beat Games will continue to ship content and updates for Beat Saber across all currently supported platforms, now with even more support from Facebook. So it's not going to leave your PSVR or anything like that, which is of course good, but it's hard not to think that maybe a potential like Beat Saber 2 or anything like that may or may not be exclusive, just because they say they're going to continue supporting the original game. I do think it's just interesting from a VR front, considering that Beat Saber is like one of the golden poster child VR games, I guess, and now it's been brought up to be from Oculus. What do you think in the news when you...
I mean, it's interesting that Facebook is... I mean, it's smart to a degree for Facebook to invest into arguably the biggest VR game, like viewership-wise, I guess, on like Twitch and stuff. It's huge for them to get that. But them for not have it solely on their console, I guess, is a bit odd. But I guess it worked out for Minecraft and Xbox. Still raking the money and stuff. Obviously, it's a great for big games because obviously Facebook have a lot of resources. They can help them out. Obviously, have contacts with like different music places. So, they might get more music packs in the future. Like proper licensed music packs, not user-generated license packs.
This is true.
So,
got the money behind it now.
I can't imagine a Beat Saber 2 coming anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. It's more like, 5, maybe in 5 years or something like that, when the VR technology improves so much that they like a sequel would make more sense. You know what I mean? Because at the moment, it's like, what would you do? Just make more DLC. Valve announced Halfe-Life Alyx last week, and this caused an interesting thing to happen. So IGN writes, Halfe-Life Alyx causes Valve Index to sell out in the US and Canada. Valve revealed its new VR-only game, Halfe-Life Alyx, on November 21st. Now, a week later, Valve's own VR headset, the Index, is selling out in the US and Canada. Road to VR reports that from November 27th, most of the Index's packages listed on the US and Canadian Steam store pages are displayed with back-in-stock soon messages. That's 3 packages in total: the headset, controllers, and Halfe-Life Alyx package, headset and Halfe-Life Alyx package, and the controllers and Halfe-Life Alyx package. Oh my fucking god, what the fuck kind of paragraph was that? The only Index package that is still available is the most expensive at $999, which includes the headset, controllers, 2 base stations, and Halfe-Life Alyx. However, the message displayed alongside that is if you want to order now, you can expect it to receive it before December 25th. Before Halfe-Life Alyx was announced, all of the Index packages were available for immediate shipping in the US and Canada. The fact that these packages are now almost all sold out is the first indication of how popular Halfe-Life Alyx might be. CG Projekt Red recently had to address whether Halfe-Life Alyx could be a threat to Cyberpunk 2077 sales in an earnings call, as both games come out within a month of each other. They said, quote, VR remains an extremely niche of the market. Like, it's very, very small. CG Projekt Senior Vice President of Business Development, Andreas Nowakowski, said that niche is very, very, very And I could add a few varies here, small. So from the market perspective, are we afraid? No, because it's a very different niche. That's a lot of niches he's chosen to use in the...
You've got time with the guy from CD Projekt Red. That's the question you decided to ask him. Are you scared of Halfe-Life Alyx, this one game that's going to be played on VR systems that isn't remotely like your game?
Well,
that's released a month later. A month is a heap of time.
A month is a heap of time. I think back in the day, here's my 2 cents on this whole, because it happens a lot still. Like a game will come out a month later and I'm like, are you worried about this game that came out like a month before you or a month after you? And I think back in the day, like 5+ years ago, that was a lot more relevant, I guess, when there was less games and just the way the industry worked and whatever. These days, we're more used to lots of big stuff coming out all the time. And a month is ages. That is... Like,
I didn't see any stories asking the freaking Respawn if they're worried about Pokemon coming out the same day as Jedi Fallen Order.
They're very similar audiences. Very similar.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They've got cute animals in them.
Yeah. In one you kill them, and the others you faint them. So if the CG Pro, I think there's an interesting story to be told and like brought up in question to like Half-Life, can it still be a big property? Can it return? That's interesting. My takeaway from this whole thing, this whole index selling out thing, is that it proves a point that PlayStation could also take to heart when it comes to PSVR, which is that if you put a big known property, big game out, it'll sell you shit. You know what I mean? That's the narrative I see here with Halfe-Life Alyx. Now, of course, can't actually confirm if that's going to be a narrative until the game releases and we see how well it does, not only on the index, but then, Oculus and all the other platforms. And if it increases Oculus numbers, index numbers as well, all for one fucking game, then I think it is like the proof of the pudding that people are seeking out and really after property they know, an IP they know, a big AAA game in VR. PlayStation has started to meddle with it, of course, with like your Blood Troops or whatever, like a big action game, like long. But PlayStation's yet to commit. Here's Horizon. Here's God of War. Here's, you know what I mean? Like here is Spider-Man, like a proper Spider-Man VR game. Some IP property that everyone knows and would go out to, that is big enough that would cause people to literally pick up those VR bundles that were on sale for Black Friday this week, for example. Because there was lots of those around for what? $200? Something like that, I think. I don't remember. Anyway, there was like VR bundles around for cheap over Black Friday. But I swear, if PlayStation had announced like we've got like a God of War game coming up VR or some shit, like it's going to be 15 hours, here's a trailer for it, it looks high budget stuff, then those bundle shop, and I bet you they would have just been selling like hotcakes, because
tell you what,
a
God of War VR experience would be pretty cool.
Why?
Like,
what are you picturing as you're doing?
Just
you're throwing the axe. Okay.
and then you recall it and you can feel it hit your hand.
Thump.
That'd be cool.
The
move controllers have some sort of rumble, right?
Is it rumble or is it slight tingle?
Maybe VR PS move controller 2 when that launches.
Launch it with the God of War.
But then you can have the blade, the blades, whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called.
I think
as well.
Yeah. For a second I was like, is that a spoiler these days? But I don't know. No.
I think so.
It's ages.
It could be based on the first flashback mission.
Chains of Olympus.
Yeah, Chains of Olympus, you can fling those around.
Yeah. Fling those around. Whoa. Don't know if it'll work, but
Insomniacs like works on some VR stuff, so maybe
Spider-Man.
Ratchet and Clank VR. Or what we really want, Captain Quark Simulator.
I would play it. It's me, everybody, Captain Quark. Welcome to your first VR simulator game. With me, Captain Quad.
This is how to be a hero.
Yeah, how to be a hero, yeah.
How to be a cadet.
I'll play it. What a great game. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to watch this Half-Life Alyx thing go through because I honestly feel like Half-Life Alyx doing well is good for not only Index and Oculus, but it should be good for VR as well because it'll prove something to PlayStation, I think. If it actually sells as well as it seems it's going to sell, you know, it could be the first like mega blockbuster, potentially mega blockbuster VR game that sells like a lot and causes people to buy VR
Sales,
units.
yeah.
Especially the Index. The Index is expensive as fuck. Like, and people are willing to buy
expensive.
that. Hey?
Yeah. The most expensive
The
option.
most expensive, let alone the PC you need to run the damn thing. And then you got to buy the most expensive headset and everything. It's like, good lord. But people are willing to buy it just for Half-Life. Yeah, so definitely one to watch early next year. If that sells really well, I'd expect that to say something to PlayStation towards what kind of games and experiences they should be working on.
Should be using their biggest IP.
Yeah, they should be. It's been out a couple of years now. Come on.
Bloodborne VR. That's what they're going to do.
Bloodborne. I mean, if you die in the game, you die in real life. You died. Fuck.
Now my PSVR unit doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
I need to get a new one. Oh.
Oh, no. Yeah. That'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivladil, VIVALADIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You can follow the show on Twitter at Plat Podcast, and you can help out the show by giving us a review on either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, or alternatively, if you like the episode, you can just tweet at any of the mentioned things and let us know. Join our Discord to chat to us about games, also trophy tips, send in questions and topics for the show, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. This is, of course, a product of the Explosion Network, of which you can find many more shows, articles, news, reviews, and more at explosionnetwork.com. And you can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Until next week, remember that every trophy counts.